Hey folks, welcome back to Maypole Farm, and I've just finished the tedding of the hay, because that's the thing that you ted in Farm Sim, and just grabbed the windrower. I'm going to get cosplay going on that, and then I'm going to go grab the baler. And there is an abandoned tractor, look at that. So it is, I was going to say Monday, but it's actually Tuesday evening, but for me it's Monday because I had a long weekend. Which was good because in the last farming video, I think I was rambling about the fact that I had an 80th birthday to go to, and I did on Saturday. It was okay. It was freaking mentally exhausting, and that meant that I didn't do much for the rest of the 3-day weekend that I had. But it was a good weekend. So yeah. Nice thing about having Monday off was that meant I wasn't working on Monday, but yeah, I didn't get very much done yesterday. So it's Tuesday evening. I've just finished eating some food, which is why I'm trying to avoid making I've just eaten food noises. There is a very distinctive sound to you've just eaten food and you've started recording a video. And it's quite annoying if you're listening, I think. And I apologize for that, but it's also pretty late to be starting to record a video. But I would like to record a video. So how many times can he say the word video without actually making any useful points? I don't know. Probably some more. So we're going to grab the baler, which is full of grass. I guess we must have been doing silage bales previously. Hey, buddy. Head up to the field and start baling the hay. Now, I had planned to do potentially a slightly longer video here and do something kind of cool later in the video, or what I think is potentially kind of cool. Now, I'm not set up for that today, so we're going to do it in the next video. And as I'm starting a bit late, so this video might be a bit shorter. We'll see. It's yeah. How many of you are excitedly playing with the Sky DLC today? Okay, not that many of you. I kind of guessed that. By the time this video comes out, it's probably going to be like Thursday at best. It could be Friday. So maybe more of you will have been playing with it by then. I'm in the hotel that I normally stay in when I'm paying when I'm away with work. But the hotel internet seems particularly poor today. And I'm really, really struggling to upload things from here. This is the second video I have recorded today. And hence it being quite late. But yeah, I'm trying to upload another video and it ain't going, folks. It ain't going. It was probably a bad sign when I struggled to do the process of making the thumbnail. And it didn't want to upload the picture. So, anyway, yeah. Is what it is, as they say. Yeah. So I had kind of thought that over the weekend, because it was a long weekend, we might watch some Jeremy Clarkson. We did we maybe watch one of them? I don't think we did, you know. We maybe sat down to, but I don't think we got around to it. So, for reasons. Now, if you watch the Beaver videos, I did mention it in the Beaver video, but I tend to ramble more in these videos, so you will get more ramble. Pup's been poorly for a few days, and he went to the vets today while I was at work, which was kind of annoying because, you know, don't like having that stuff happen when I'm not there, particularly as it means Mrs. D has to struggle through that on her own with her health problems. And turns out he's just got we think, just got a bad infection in both ears, but he'd gone from being this kind of super cheery, bright, bouncy. We call him the bouncing ball of stupid. Imagine nearly 50 kilos of greyhound with half a brain cell, who's pretty much permanently happy and bouncy and cheery. And then over the last few days, he's got really withdrawn and reclusive, and didn't want to eat and all that kind of stuff. And we initially put it down to the hot weather and him not enjoying the hot weather. But we were both a bit worried, so he went to the vets today, and he has ear infections. He's also having blood tests done to check that there's nothing else going on, but hopefully it's just the ear infections. But the fact that he has ear infections mean he's now on meds to fix those, and hopefully he'll then be better. But that was kind of worrying because no one likes their pets being poorly. So yeah, and like the 80th birthday was a family event, which for me is mentally draining. So I cooked food for everyone. Everyone liked the food. I brought back maybe half the food because I cooked a little bit too much. Which meant I ate barbecued food for a day and a half, which was a win for me, and now I'm back at work, and it is what it is, isn't it? Let's talk about the Sky DLC. I'm waving my finger at for some reason at the OBS window, and it makes even less sense than me waving at the screen that's in front of me. But anyway, so I have a few issues with that DLC. If you didn't watch the first look video I did on it, kind of fine, because you might not be interested in the DLC. My two main bugbears with that DLC are that it doesn't really introduce any worthwhile new features. It introduces the enhanced physics and mud dynamics bollocks. I'm not paying 10 quid for some different fucking mud animations. And then it's a pack which is heavily focused around the Power Harrow Cedar combination. A combination which doesn't freaking work in Farm Sim. In that it doesn't work as a direct drill, and you need to have pre-prepped the field. And for me, that is illogical. Because you can power harrow a field and it will prepare it for seeding, but you can't do that if the seeder is attached to the power harrow. It makes no sense to me at all. A real farmer might tell me why that's a thing, but logically it makes no sense. If I have talk amongst yourselves for a moment, folks. If I have this guy, okay, and it can prepare a field for putting seeds in the ground, and then I have this guy, which is the same thing with the seeder attached to the back of it, why can it then not work in a field that hasn't been pre-prepared? Makes no sense to me logically. And then if you look at because I did actually activate it on here, the Sky DLC, Power Harrow Cedar combination, Power Harrow Cedar combination, Power Harrow Cedar combination. So that's 3 of the 12 items. That's a quarter of them that in my mind don't work properly. Straight out of the bat, So, yeah. It's why I think is, its selling point is a disappointment. 3/4 of it don't function as I think they should. Now, if you're on PC, because I'm guessing it's a script mod, it's certainly, I think it's only available on itch currently. DJ's just done a video of a mod that's available, which does make it work properly. I can't remember who the mod's by. Just go look on DJ's channel, and it's his latest. It was his latest video on Tuesday. I'm guessing by now a bunch of people have done stuff on it, but if they haven't, yeah, just go peek DJ's channel. You'll see it. But it's just, you know, and you know, how many times can you say you know without actually adding any substantive content? Several. I think if I was Sulky or Sky Agriculture, I'd be disappointed as a brand in the fact that you've done a deal with giants and then they misrepresent a bunch of your kit to how I would assume, and yes, I'm assuming, that real farmers would intend to use it. I did just spend far too long, because of the shitty hotel internet, trying to Google whether that Power Harrow seeder combo is considered a direct drill in the real world. It was not completely clear whether it is or not. I got an AI overview which said it was, but I tend not to trust AI overviews for things like that, because it referenced a Sky Agriculture video. But yeah, we'll see. It just feels to me like their brand is not being represented as best it could. So there's that. I'm just going to let this windrow finish and we'll come back again. Well, I lied, but it's got a little bit further and hopefully it'll stay ahead of us. It's so hot in this hotel room tonight. It's not been as hot if you're not in the UK, it's not been as hot today in the UK. But I'm in a budget-friendly hotel, let's say that. And it doesn't have aircon. And I'm sat next to a rather warm PC. So, yeah. I'm getting to the point where the temperature is doing me head in, mate. But we'll get the baling finished, and then I'm probably going to wrap this one up. But yeah, so yeah, I don't know how it works with these brands and such. I assume that, I don't know actually. I guess it varies, situation to situation, whether giants approach the brand or the brand approaches giants, as to whether they want to be in the game or whatever. But yeah, it just feels to me like, with the way those combinations work in game, if I was the, I guess, brand manager, or if they've got a social media manager, because does gaming count as social media? I'd find it not a very accurate representation that you can't drive a tractor with one of their seeders into a field and actually plant a field with it unless you separate the thing into two separate parts. That feels a little bit weird to me. Yeah. And I guess the frustration for non-PC players is you can't download the mod that someone's written to fix it, which is, they're just kind of stuck with it. Particularly as it's DLC content, which means people can't even make modded versions of them as direct drills. So, if it was a mod, the way you could maybe get around it is you change the seeder unit to still be a direct drill. But you can't do that. So you're just stuck with it being average. Oh, the other fun thing with this trip. So I was trying to be very organized this time. Now, I didn't feel like being organized on Monday for mostly the reasons that we've chatted. We've been chatting about how my weekend went. And yeah, I didn't really feel like being organized on Monday. Actually fell asleep Monday afternoon, I think it was. It might have been Monday evening. Yeah, I'm that old. I fall asleep in the armchair. But I got all my meds sorted out. And I've been really bad at, so I've been taking all my prescription meds, but I've been really bad at I take some supplements to help on top of that. Because there are some supplements that can help with some of how I feel. So I was taking them consistently for a while, and then I got bad at taking them, and you don't get the benefit if you don't take them. So I'd organized out like the next so many doses of everything. And I had them all sorted out for this little trip. I mean, this is only a single night away. And this morning, in kind of the stress, whatever, of getting ready to go, worrying about Polypup and all that stuff, I've got to pick up all of my meds to come away. So it generally doesn't have an immediate impact on how I feel, particularly the headache meds. But I would guess by tomorrow lunchtime-ish, I'll be starting to feel the effects of not having taken them. Because by then I'll have missed 3 doses, so that'll kind of suck. Now, generally, it pretty quickly rectifies itself, so that is good. And I think, did I mention I had a neurology appointment? Did I mention that last time we were here? I can't remember. Anyway, I think it's over a year, I finally saw a neurologist on Monday. It's the other reason that I had a day off on Monday. And annoyingly, it was a telephone appointment. I hate telephone appointments. I hate speaking on the telephone. But it went kind of okay. He has prescribed me a new drug for my reoccurring bad headaches, the ones that aren't cluster headaches. I've got to wait for a call from the hospital to go get it, because it's been issued out of the hospital pharmacy for some reason. I don't know if it's one that's hard to get. One of the other medications that I'm prescribed every month, our local pharmacy really struggles to get. I think partly because it's really expensive and they don't like prescribing it, because either they or our local GP loses money on it, because they only get back a standard fee. That's how it works in the UK. I'm not sure who pays for it, actually. I don't know. Someone is losing money, because it costs about 10 times what I pay for it. So I don't know. Either way, I'm not sure if this is going to be another one of those, which is going to be difficult for them to get medication. The interesting thing is it's an every other day med, which I've never had before. So that'll be fun to manage taking. Now, because I'm old, like a bunch of you are, I use an app on my phone to remind me to take all my meds. So I'm assuming I can set that to remind me to take meds every other day. Now, the kind of bad thing is I have very generic reminders of take meds, pretty much. So I'll have to get a bit more organized with that. But, if I can not have really bad headaches every, sort of once or twice a week, and headaches every day-ish. It'd be nice. It'd be nice. It's kind of fun talking to the neurologist about stuff, and there are some meds that I'm prescribed that I don't take because I don't like how they make me feel. And I need to be able to function to a level to do my job, and they kind of inhibit that. So I don't take them. Anyway, so it was like, oh, so you don't like taking medication? It's like, no, I'll take medication as long as the side effects aren't bad. It's like one of the drugs that I take a couple of times a day has had minimal side effects for me and has had the brilliant effect of stopping the cluster headaches that I get pretty much. It's been a very long time since I've had a cluster headache attack. If you're curious what those are, Google them. Spoken about them a fair bit. They are also referred to sometimes as suicide headaches, which probably means this video will now struggle to be monetized because that word is bad for monetization. So anyway, where was I? Yeah, so he's prescribed me this new med, which is supposed to help stop the frequent, severe, but not super severe headaches. I always find it really funny talking to, like, the few times when I've spoken to a neurologist, as someone who's had headaches. The first one that I can remember, I think I was probably maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6 years old, something like that. It's kind of hard to remember exactly how old you are when you're a kid, isn't it? I found it was. But I was young, let's say that. And I remember I've spoken about this before. I remember being sat in my childhood bedroom on a Sunday, wanting to bash my head into something because my head hurts so much from a headache. It's one of the things that I always kind of say when people say, oh, you get headaches because of, you drink too much caffeine, or you do this, or you do that, or you don't do the other. And it's like, I've been having headaches since I was too small for any of those things, too young for any of those things to be a factor in my life. It is part of the makeup of my body. It's an interesting expression from the previous neurologist, because I have like a family history of members of my family suffering from migraines, which prompted him to say that I have a migrainous family, which I thought was kind of apt. Like my dad, my nan, who was my dad's mum, my sister, all suffer from headaches. My nephew, my sister's son, suffers in similar ways to the way that I do in terms of levels of pain. I think he's finally been to see a neurologist recently to get some help. Yeah. Genetically, we have a predisposition to suffer as a family to suffering from headaches. And I went into my 30s before I even bothered trying to do anything about it, because my whole family had suffered with headaches and I had suffered with them my whole life. It's not quite true. I had tried it once before and was unsuccessful with finding a doctor that would gave me anything useful in terms of treatment, and so I gave up. Mrs. D is a little more persistent to try and encourage me to get help, partly because she was fed up of dealing with how I get when I have really bad headaches. Yeah. Turn you off. So, in other news, the video upload that I was trying to do has failed because of the cruddy internet. So we won't be uploading any videos today. Videos will be being uploaded from tomorrow, which is Wednesday, which means this video will be coming out on Friday. So, but you will already know that because you'll have watched it to this point already on, if you're a patron, Thursday or Friday or later if you're not, or Thursday or later if you're a patron, because you might still watch it later and you might still wait and watch it on YouTube. I don't know. That's your choice, prerogative, whatever you want to say. So, yeah. But yeah, I can't be bothered to stay up super late to try and upload videos when I have to get up to go to work in the morning. I keep looking at options for like mobile uploading, and it's so variable and it's so infrequent that it's just not worth it for the cost. Like I could try and do it through my phone, but it's doing it on my phone is a pain. And tethering to my phone is a bit of a pain because I'm going to go to bed after I've finished yapping to you guys, and kind of really going to hit me with a complaint. Part of my process of going to sleep is, and I suppose is listening to audiobooks or listening to like fall asleep stuff. I have a busy brain, and unless I'm really tired, I can't go to sleep in silence these days. I used to need utter silence to go to sleep, but as I've gotten older, the busy brain needs something to switch it off. So, how many bales did we make? If I can go to the right menu, which I never can because I'm an idiot. God, just click all of the freaking menus. Yeah, literally that's what I'm going to do. Because I am an idiot and a fool. There we go. Statistics. Bales produced 26. That's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. That was a decent yield off of that grass field. Although someone forgot to do a thumbnail because they're in Egypt. So there is that. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members. And we will be back next time for something which I hope you think is rather cool.